Good morning, everybody. My name is Rebecca Wing. I'm calling you from Saco, Maine. So it's good to be with you this morning. I wanted to let you know before we start this morning that there's going to be an offering that Mind the Moment is going to be doing later this week and in the month of November. It's open to the public. It's free. It's going to be led by Tara Healy, who is a wonderful founder of the Mind the Moment program. And she'll be leading both of those sessions. One's October 24th, and the other one is November 13. And they're half hour, just short presentations from 12 to 12:30 on both those days. And she's titling it Riding the Waves of Change, Mindfulness for Uncertain Times. I think this was sort of in response to the upcoming election. So she'll be talking about practical techniques for mindfulness approaches to how to support yourself when you're going through change or feelings of anxiousness or uncertainty. So I'm going to drop the link actually in the chat to if you want to register or find out more about it so that you may find something interesting to attend to later on. So here it comes to you. So I thought this morning, in light of that sort of idea about uncertainty and restless times, I wanted to pose this question. Oh, you didn't receive it. Okay, let me try that again. Should be coming to everybody. Oh, you know what? I did not click everyone. Here it comes again. Thanks for saying that. So the question this morning is, when do I feel separated and isolated within myself from everything? And when do I notice that I feel a connection or feel a part of this earth, this world, my community? And we're going to be talking about that a little bit after meditation, of the difference between that sense of at times feeling isolated and alone, and at other times having that quality where we're really dropping into a sense of interconnectedness with all things. So the meditation this morning is going to be an exploration of that in one specific way of learning how to hold your sense of inner self while simultaneously being aware of the outer surroundings that you're in. So you can think of this as like a twofold consciousness. And yes, separated and alone. Yeah, good answer. Working by myself with the computer very easily, feeling alone, and driving in public, right? Suddenly I'm aware of the interconnectivity of all these drivers on the road. That's a good one. So this recognition of how do we hold both simultaneously is an aspect of what we're going to be doing in meditation today. Sometimes we can relate to meditation as an inward process that is, in a sense, very isolated and drawing in, and maybe even you could consider away from the outer world. And there are other meditation practices where you're able to feel, in a sense, more outwardly experiencing your environment with others in it, or just the sound of your heater, or the experience of the light in the room. And so what I'm hoping for you today is the exploration of how we toggle between those two experiences of inner separateness and outer interconnection with just the room you're sitting in. So let's do the practice, and then we'll explore a little bit more about this concept of the inner and the outer experience of connection. So as always, find that position that's comfortable for you this morning. Drop in. Do the best you can to align yourself so that you're upright. That'll allow yourself to feel aligned. Softly rising spine. And just centering your awareness that your ears are aligned over your shoulders so that the head is not falling backwards or forwards. And then just sensing the seat beneath you. A real nice way to drop in after busyness of the morning. We can just feel the connection with the seat beneath us. And then as you draw your attention inward, attend to the sensations that are arising there with open, gentle awareness. And then I'm going to ask you to focus your awareness on your exhale. This quality of releasing on the exhale can be very helpful. And of course, the inhale is going to happen on its own, especially if the exhale is a little longer, just a little bit, not a forced exhale necessarily. Just experiencing a letting go on the exhale as you settle in. As you bring consciousness to your interior body, invite the consciousness to be soft, a sense of open awareness. As you exhale and let go. Next, I'm going to encourage you to explore the exhale, expanding your consciousness as you exhale into the room around you. In a sense of exploring the ability to extend your consciousness just to the boundaries that are outside your body. Use your imagination to explore the expanding of conscious awareness as you exhale, sensing the awareness extending beyond the body's boundaries. Explore relaxing on the exhale as you extend your awareness outward. When the mind drifts too far, you can always pull the awareness into the center of the body again, attending to that letting go quality on the exhale. See if you can sense a little bit further beyond the body into the room, a sense of consciousness expanding further, perhaps to the boundaries of the walls of the room. Each exhale, an opportunity to let go and to connect simultaneously to the inner and the outer experience. For the last part of the practice, allow yourself to rest, staying aware, but not really doing much of anything, just simply resting. So, as we end the practice, always helpful to take a deeper breath in, maybe a little stretch as we end the meditation. So, this practice of extending consciousness is, in a sense, a metaphor for this aspect of separate or interconnected, and how and in what way we begin to acknowledge the truth of both of those experiences, that I am separate, I have a boundary to my skin and to myself. I have a sense of an awareness of myself, that I know I'm myself, and that is called the relative truth. Relative truth is basically this personal level of knowing that I exist. And it's quite dualistic. In other words, I'm me and everything else is outside. So it's me and you, right? So this quality of experience of relative truth is true. The other aspect of how and how do I put it? How we exist on this planet, let's put it that way, involves the reality beyond dualism. Because, of course, without your neighborhood grocer, without the farmer, without the guy who delivers your propane or your gas, your fuel, without the teachers, without, right, we'll just keep going. The list is long, yes? We would not exist. Our experience would not be possible. And so this interconnection between each other is, in a sense, an agreement that we are all looking out for each other, even though we don't really think about it on a regular basis, that there is this quality of interrelationality. And this quality is, sometimes we can call it interbeing. Without you, I'm not a teacher, right? I have to have students in order to be a teacher. So there is this agreement that we become sort of connected in that way, and interdependent in a sense on each other. And this wisdom sometimes gets lost. We call that the absolute truth in Buddhist philosophy. That's the absolute truth versus the relative truth. But the interesting thing is that they both occur simultaneously. We have to do both. In other words, I got to pay my mortgage, I got to work, I got to clean out the cat box, I got to take the dog for a walk, I have to clean my kitchen sink, right? This is all sort of keeping my world together, my inner world and my immediate world, and that I'm in relationship to everything else, that I am, in a sense, relying on that interrelationality for this life to even exist and even happen. And when we remember that relationality, it can be very, very helpful, especially in times where it feels like the world is sort of mired in dualism, right? Right and wrong, the warring mind, the quality of aggression, that I must protect myself and at all costs, that this kind of sort of continually separating self from other can create a lot of feeling of that it's just me against the world. And so as we get into these meditations around extending to the room, you can take this even further. You can imagine your consciousness extending to your neighborhood. In a sense, feeling your neighborhood around you, because it always is, right? Connecting and sensing that feeling of belonging to your neighborhood, irregardless of what your neighbor's political, societal views are. You are undeniably in relationship with everyone in your community. And it is a beautiful practice over time as you get more exploring this sort of imagining. Okay, now I'm imagining my neighborhood. Now, can I imagine my state? And a sense of just that quality of being a part of this state that I live in. And then, of course, you could go further to the country that I live in. And then, of course, further to the world that I live in. And as you explore this sort of, it's, excuse me, it's using the imagination to sometimes visuals can come when you're thinking about it. Sort of that sense of feeling about is sometimes happens where this internal space opens up. It's like, oh, right, of course, I am in interrelationship with all of these things. And you can get really curious about the sense of ownership. I was teaching my meditation class a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about how can I refer to a car as something other than mine? This is my car. And so we were talking about, because I'm in relationship with this car. I'm not, it's not like part of me. I'm in relationship with the car. Without the car, I can't drive. So I have this car. And so someone said, well, maybe I would just say, this is the car I purchased and I drive, which I think is a really nice way to relate to it. It's not mine. In other words, which relates to grasping, right? Grasping. So then we talked about, well, how could I refer to my spouse as something other than my spouse, right? Well, this is the man I married, right? You start playing around with the language and you realize, gosh, I relate to everything that's in my life as mine, right? And a sense of ownership. And unfortunately, when that happens, sometimes we grasp at wanting the thing to be a certain way, whatever it is. Someone scratches my car. Now I'm upset because it's my car, right? So these are the qualities that we start to explore in meditation, which is, okay, can I really get connected to that interrelationality of all things? I am a part of all of it. I am not uniquely isolated and separated. And for those of you who have had depression, and most of us have had it one time or another, some form of depression, that awareness leaves us, doesn't it? We feel isolated, we feel alone, we feel disconnected, and we forget that interrelationality. We are lost in the relative truth, just me, by myself, versus the absolute truth of recognizing that there's an entire community around me that I'm just simply not aware of right now during this time. So as we explore this, for those of you who are thinking about, your times when you feel connected, start getting really curious about the feeling of the interconnectedness with others and the world. It's an important awareness over time. Let's say you're with friends, really attend to and notice how connected you feel with friends. Or when you're with your grandchildren and you really sense that feeling of being in relationship with them. And how and in what way when I'm outside walking in nature. Up here in Maine right now, the foliage is just incredible. I'm in southern Maine in Saco, so it's just amazing. And so that ability to connect and feel a part of and in relationship to nature, same thing, right? Without the trees, no oxygen. Without the earth, can't grow food. Without the biosphere, no air. You can't breathe. And so this interconnection allows us to relax in feeling included versus feeling separate and alone. So I wonder if you have a question about that or a comment about that, put it in the chat, because it's it's a pretty big conversation. It is an ongoing exploration of, do I really sense that I am a part of the larger whole? And when I do, what am I doing? What's my experience? And how and in what way do I have to hold my shape together and be separate at times when I really need to, I don't know, make my life sort of have meaning or purpose, or just keeping my act together, right? How do I continue to explore this nature of self and connection with self in the outer world of humans and nature and all that arises around me? This is also a part of what we can teach our children, because, of course, as we grow over time, we want to get more and more aware of that interconnectedness and help our children experience that sense of community, of connection, so that they too can feel held. And you may notice when you're thinking about it for yourself, how much or in what way do I yearn for more of that sense of connection, and how and in what way would I be able to really cultivate that in the world, in my world, in the world around me? I think, frankly, as we all know, COVID really kind of put the cap on that, didn't it? And we tried to learn how to be connected through Zoom, but it doesn't feed all of who we are. And so that new phase, I think, for all of us coming out of COVID, even though it feels like a long time ago, it really wasn't, how we can continue to cultivate conscious awareness of the interrelated nature of all things in life. So take a moment right now, for instance, as you're talking to me or listening to me and I'm talking, of even noticing that the room is still around you, that you are in. Your skin is taking in the information about the temperature, the humidity or dryness of the room. You've been hearing the sounds in the room, although not consciously attending to them, but they've been going on the whole time I've been talking. And even a sense of a connectedness with the chair that you've been sitting in. How at times the chair almost disappeared because the awareness was focused more on the screen than on the chair beneath our body. So I would suggest today, when you're feeling sort of contracted, grasping, clinging to wanting things a certain way, sort of experiment with that sense of just relaxing on the exhale and taking a moment to attend to your surroundings by seeing your surroundings, sensing your surroundings, seeing, hearing your surroundings. This allows us to get more and more sort of able to ebb and flow between relative truth, I am here, I am me, and absolute truth, I am connected to my surroundings. And I hope this was helpful for you today. I think as we get closer to this gigantic election that has so much energy and emotion surrounding it, that you can find that letting go quality of the exhale and sort of allowing that sense of ease and open awareness, so that when you're feeling contracted, fearful, anticipatory, that you can really find a way to find your center. So good to be with you all. My name again is Rebecca Wing. Good to be with you, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye, everybody. Be well.